Hey, what's up? Over the years, LEGO has made a lot of Marvel minifigures. Like, just look at my collection. I own way too many of these.
Please help me, I can't stop buying them.
But since there's almost an infinite universe of characters, today I'm going to be talking about LEGO Marvel figures we still don't have. Now, ever since the increase of Marvel shows and movies, LEGO's had a hard time keeping up with each new character that gets introduced. And hey, I can't blame them. Marvel releases like 7 of these things a year. It's hard to keep up. Well, except for Morbius. That one should have been made. But today, I didn't want to just talk about just the MCU, but literally everything surrounding it. Because there's so many characters that we still haven't got after 10 years of this theme being around. So first, let's talk about the MCU. Now, a lot of the characters we haven't got as minifigures come from all the older MCU movies. This not only gives LEGO opportunities for new figures, but also an entire new wave of the Infinity Saga. There are so many figures I love to see from these movies. The Spiderman Homecoming suit, Captain America World War II suit, Heimdall, Frost Giants, Abomination, and even after 10 years, we still don't have a Own It figure. I am starting to lose my mind. Even though LEGO has tried making some of these sets with the new Iron Man armory, it is literally the only Infinity Saga set this year to have minifigures. This is where I'm starting to get pissed off, because LEGO has just taken away the best parts about this sub-theme and replaced it with buildable inanimate objects. Now don't get me wrong, most of these sets look really good, but there's just too many of them. Most LEGO fans aren't going to be able to afford each one of these sets, and it just doesn't really make sense to release so many at once. I just think there's so many great ideas they're missing out by not doing any of these sets. Things like a Spider-Man's bedroom set, a Guardian's prison escape, or even a mirror dimension. I'm just saying, if LEGO's already made a set with 2 aliens playing Fortnite, literally anything's possible. But as much as I want some of these older characters, there's still so many figures that could come from the recent shows and movies, like Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Thor, and literally every Disney Plus show. There is way too many of them. So first, let's talk about Spider-Man.
Like, does it just come out of your wrists, or does it come out of anywhere else?
Spider-Man No Way Home was one of the most anticipated Marvel films, and even though we did get sets for the movie, yeah, they're not really that accurate. I don't know about you guys, but like, I don't really remember this scene in the movie. Maybe I missed it. Like, this may as well be more accurate to the Morbius movie. What a shame we didn't get that. But for the amount of characters No Way Home has to offer, I honestly think it deserves an entire wave. Because not only they have to make the 3 Spider-Man, but also a roster of 5 different villains. It's crazy to think how long ago this movie was released, and it still doesn't have any LEGO leaks. Like, come on guys, I'm dying here. But hey, when LEGO actually makes the sets, I could finally buy a Toby and Andrew figure without having to live in a cardboard box for the rest of my life. I don't know about you, but that seems like a great deal. Oh wait, there's still taxes? As for Multiverse of Madness, its potential for figures is actually insane. Because not only can we get a Black Bolt and Mr. Fantastic, but finally, a Professor X. Oh my god. Thank you. Thank you. I've waited for way too long. Now this movie will probably only end up getting 1 set, but like, that's fine because it's all it really needs. I know there's like other characters in the movie, but like, I don't really care.
Why the hell is there an alligator in here? He's a monkey!
Okay, so now I want to talk about some Disney Plus shows. I think we pretty much all know by now, Marvel's been releasing a lot of these shows, with Loki, WandaVision, Moon Knight, Ms. Marvel, and so many more of these that the CGI team has finally managed to keep up with the levels of the Incredible Bulk. Great going, Marvel executives. It's almost like you gave 24 hours for your employees to work on this whole show. Even though LEGO did make figures for the first 4 shows, there are still so many missing minifigures, like Baron Zemo, Moon Knight, Agatha, Kang, and Kate Bishop, and so many more. But with the amount of shows being produced, it's basically impossible for LEGO to make any sets on it. So that's why I thought of the totally original idea of making a Marvel CMF. No one else has thought of this? This is my idea. Now if I'm gonna be honest, if LEGO did make a second Marvel CMF, I would have rathered if they just did comic book or other MCU characters. But if this is the only way I can get a Kingpin or a She-Hulk, which isn't in one of the worst sets ever made, so be it. Alright, so now let's talk about some comic book figures. Other than the MCU, there's still hundreds of characters that haven't been made in LEGO. This all includes the X-Men, Inhumans, Fantastic Four, and way too many Spiderman villains. Although most of these will probably never be made because of how obscure they are, one of the best places to introduce these is sets like the Daily Bugle or Sanctum Sanctorum, mainly because they're targeted to an older audience and more the core fans. These type of sets provide us so many great opportunities to get new figures, like how the Daily Bugle gave us Daredevil, Punisher, and Blade. By the way, LEGO, that was like the best thing ever, thank you. But this is honestly one of my main problems I have with the newer Sanctum Sanctorum. Although it is a perfect set build-wise, the minifigures are just so bland. Most of the figures in that set are MCU based and have absolutely no way to introduce new comic book characters. I just think having the Sanctum Sanctorum being limited to having MCU figures just makes it so much worse. Like this set could have had figures like Dormammu or Nightmare, but instead we just get Zombie Man and like f***ing Squidward. Why? But with that, let's talk about X-Men. Now, I've been waiting for X-Men for way too long, and now that we finally have the new Wolverine mech and the introduction of that new X-Men reboot show, I can actually see more X-Men sets happening. I would love to see more X-Men figures be introduced because they're so unique and cool from so many of the other Avengers and stuff. They're just cool, okay? I would love to see Jean Grey, Sabretooth, Nightmare, Gambit, or like another Deadpool figure. I don't know, like I have one, but like that figure alone is like $50. That's not okay. Anyways, that's about all I have to say. If you took anything away from this video, it's that the most wanted Marvel minifigure in the entire Marvel universe is Morbius. And that is 100% fact. Goodbye.
You didn't pay for that.
He stole that guy's pizza!